from a very snowy Northern Ireland. Can you believe it? I'm from Northern Ireland. Welcome back to Mindful Crochet with me, Jenna, and my Facebook group. If you're following along on there, coffee, cats, and crochet, three of my favourite things. Yes, I am from Northern Ireland, and snow over here is a very rare occurrence. It started snowing last night. I had a great snowball fight last night with the kids just before bed. This morning, they're now back to school today, so I have complete peace and quiet. Well, I did have Simba was annoying me, but he's not too bad now. He's had his dinner. Hopefully, he'll go and have a nap. And the view from where I'm sitting right now is just amazing. We enjoyed a lovely walk to school in the snow this morning, and I certainly enjoyed my walk down by the river on the way back. And where I'm sitting now in my little makeshift craft room, although it's mainly the kids' toys and I'm just sitting in their seats, but I just love this little room because it's so cozy. And it is still snowing outside, so I am sitting here watching the birds. I've left some biscuit out for them in the bin, and they're up in the trees and the little house across from me. And I am sitting now watching the snow falling and the birds running about there getting food, and it's just a beautiful sight. It's mindfulness in itself without the crochet. It's absolutely wonderful. So we're to get more heavy snowfall today. So tonight, instead of a snowball fight, I think we might be able to make a snowman. So the kids are super excited, and so is I. We don't get it very often, so it's really exciting when we do get it, and especially when it's heavy like that and it lies. So I'm really looking forward to the next couple of days and having lots of snow fun with the kids. So that brings me to my nightgown because there's nothing more whenever it's snowy or cold outside in the winter time. I love to cozy up with my nightgown on because it's just so soft and warm. Kind of like this more than a fire. To be honest, open fire sometimes can be too much, although I don't have one at this house, but can sometimes be a little bit too hot. But I love to cozy up with this, so I'll wear this until it's time to go and pick up the kids again later. And of course, it wouldn't be complete without my cuppa. Yes, it's a Christmas mug. I've been using this for a year. My friend got me this last year for Christmas, and it is just the perfect mug for a cappuccino, which is my favourite coffee drink. That and a latte, but I don't really think there's much difference between the two. And I like to add caramel syrup to mine instead of sugar. So nothing that's the perfect day to be cozied up in a nice blanket or a cozy nightgown, a cup of your favourite drink, and crochet. What more could you want? Really. So I am going to have a relaxing day today. This is my first day, as I say, with no hubby and no kids, and the cats are quiet at the minute, so they're either bird watching upstairs or they're away for their nap. So I have got peace for the next hour or two, and we're going to do the yarn unboxing now, and then after that I'm going to do my guided meditation, for I haven't done one since the kids got off for school because I just didn't have a chance. And I love my guided meditations. They're really, really good for me, as well as my journaling. So tell me, where do you like to cozy up? Which room in your house do you like to cozy up in? Do you like to cozy up beside a window where you're looking outside at the sky or the birds or whatever, your garden? What do you like to cozy up with? Do you like to put your nightgown on like me? Do you like to have a cozy blanket, maybe one you've crocheted or knitted around your legs? I've been wanting to do one of those for ages, so it is on my list for this year, a blanket as well. And what is your favorite warm hot drink that you like to have while you're crocheting or knitting? Please do let me know in the comments below. I would love to know your little cozy, what would you call it, your little, because all this kind of sets the scene, and all of this is part of mindfulness as well for settling down for knitting and crochet. So it's setting the perfect, here he comes, I spoke too soon. It's setting the perfect, peaceful, calming, soothing environment. What do you find soothing? And for me, it's definitely cappuccino, cozy clothes, and crochet. So without further ado, I'm going to show you Simba's jumper again, because the lighting the last night when I took the last video wasn't too good, but I was just super excited to do a video. I'm all sticky now. I was super excited to do the video, and while I had what I wanted to say in my head, sometimes I just have to go with it and do it, because then later on I'll forget, even if I have it wrote down. So I'm still not really any further forward. I'm doing the other side. I don't want to lose my stitching here. This is the one side you seen the other night, which this is the top. So the yellow's the top of the jumper. This will be around his neck. And then this orange side is one side. And I'm now starting this side, which I've chosen to do in the yellow on this side. So once I have this one the same length as this side, then it'll be ready. Both of these just comes up here, sew it across. This gap will be opened here, and that's just to allow it to go underneath. So the way it goes on is the yellow bit goes around his neck, and then the split in the middle, part of that is for the chest, and then the rest is under a little loop under his belly to keep it on. So I don't need to worry about putting an extra piece on, which I could have done. I could have crocheted on an extra piece. If he won't let me put it on, because it's a pullover, if he won't let me put it on that way, then I will have to crochet an extra piece, and put a little bit of Velcro or a wee button or something around the other side and put it on that way. But I think he should be all right. I mean, he was out in the snow this morning, doesn't like wet cold paws, but there's nothing really I can crochet in that respect for his paws. But at least this will keep him a wee bit warmer. So I'm going to be working on this steady for the next couple of days to try and get this on him before the snow goes away. You know, but just to show you the close up. So that's just double crochet in better light in the last video. That is just normal double crochet. In the orange, this is chunky, and in the signet, so that's signet yellow, I can't remember the exact shade, and that's signet orange, and it definitely is orange, remember that much. I just don't have the ball bands with me. Signet is one of the many balls of wool, brands of wool I have used for many years. I used signet whenever I was knitting many years ago. Again, I didn't really have a wool shop close to me then either, and I relied a lot on getting wool through Amazon. At that time, I used a lot of Mariner wool, but it was double knit and it wasn't the best quality, and it was really hard to work with. Maybe that was why another reason why I found my knitting back then so stressful, because I wasn't using good quality yarn. I'll know the difference now because I'm going to pick up knitting after I finish his jumper, and I'm going to make some washcloths just in memory of my friend passed away, because she taught me, the snow's getting thicker, she taught me how to knit as well, and I wanted to do a little bit of knitting in memory of her. And then I've got another bigger project which is also in memory of her, which is something she done, but I'll not be doing it in the knitted version. I'll be doing it in the crocheted version. More on that to come at a later stage. So I now get my wool instead of Amazon, apart from the odd ball of signet if I need it fairly quickly, because I'm doing a project and I need to get it finished or whatever, and it's not going to be here for about a week, then I will get the odd ball of signet from Amazon. But I mostly get all my wool now from the Wool Warehouse. I came across them on Facebook, and I couldn't believe just how many brands of different yarn they had. Now, I always use like an acrylic mix, and I think most of these balls are an acrylic mix. All of these, I haven't touched them yet, are brand new, so I'll be able to have a look at the ball and see. But I'm nearly certain all of these ones I got are the acrylic mix. I've never really used just pure wool or cashmere. I have eczema, and I can't have really certain materials next to my skin, especially some types of wool. It makes me itch and it brings me out in my eczema, so I have to stick with the acrylic mix for that reason. So I got a few different types this time. I've decided I'm going to try a few different brands, so I'll let you know how I get on with those. Typically what I find with some of the cheaper brands, now back then I done a lot of baby knits in GMC Brett. His lovely baby pastel Iran wool is quite nice to work with. I also tried his paint box rainbow chunky, and I can't mind what I was making with it, but I do remember that it kept splitting on me, and there was a lot of knots in it, and it was awful to work with. So I don't really work with GMC Brett anymore. I think I used it maybe last year or the year before, just the cotton GMC Brett, to do some washcloths. Over here we call them face cloths, but washcloths. The cotton GMC Brett for the washcloths are fine. They're absolutely fine. But my favourite brand that I have used for years is Signet. I've used Signet Double Knit, I have used Signet Iran and Signet Chunky. But I have tried one of the new brands here. Well, I have a couple of new brands here, as I say, but there's one new brand out. Apparently, Wool Warehouse have said, and I've decided to try them. So I've got a couple of balls in Super Chunky. It's called Yarn Smiths. I've got a couple of balls in Super Chunky, and then I've got, which is the top here, I'm going to show you these first. I tried knitting with these when I was a beginner knitter, and it really did not go well. I'm wondering, because I'm better at crochet, maybe this is a wee bit too ambitious, could I now crochet with this stuff instead? This is, if I pronounce it right, the chenille, 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 the chenille yarn. So it's really, really super soft. I don't even know if the camera's picking up the color of that. So this is white, like a whitey color, and it's got little bits of purple and pink through it. I've seen people use these. Now this is like a super chunky. I have seen people use these for blankets and stuff. So I was thinking maybe I could crochet a blanket using this. But I know when I tried to knit, oh, it's getting even thicker, that snow. I know when I tried to knit with this, I got all tangled up and I couldn't do it. So if anybody has knitted or crocheted with this stuff before, please give me some tips and let me know how you do it. I also would love to know, I'm looking to see what needles these are. Actually, they're 8mm needles and 8mm hooks. So yeah, that would typically be for a blanket, or I think I've seen somebody doing a pair of socks in these as well. But I got one with the pink and the purple through it. This is actually a 300-gram ball. But it didn't come in a smaller size, and I thought, well, I'm going to try this and see. It really feels so soft. It's like a really soft marshmallow. It's actually quite good. The colorway is not too bad. I actually got a second ball of this. Just going to set that in the toy box, and I like the color in the second ball better, and it's ocean blue. I like that. Daniel will be looking something made out of that. So let me know, what can you make out of this if any of you have used this before for knitting or crochet. How do you use it for crochet in particular? There's no way I can knit with it. And what can I make with it? I was thinking a blanket. It would be lovely for a blanket, and I could do him a little blanket for the top of his bed, and one for Jasmine. Hence why I got the pink and purple and the blue, was kind of to make something for them. So yes, let me know. And that is the new brand there, that's out on Wool Warehouse. I don't know if any of you have tried it yet, and it's Yarn Smiths. But yes, I would love to know what your favorite brand of wool is to use for your knitting and crochet, and also what is your preferred weight. Do you like using double knit? Do you like using a ran? Do you like using chunky or super chunky? Which is your preferred weight of yarn to use, and what is your favorite brand? Do let me know in the comments. They all come in this lovely organza bag. I love this. They came packaged in that. I got those a time or two before, and the bags are really handy. I would keep one of these bags, say, for all my double knit wool, and then put other, like a ran, keep all my ran wool in it, and then all my chunky wool in it. But at the minute, I'm actually using a big, massive plastic tub this size with the lid on it, just to stop them from going mouldy, because there's a few issues of that in this house. And as I say, this is just temporary. Pardon me, a temporary house for us at the minute, because we still have to look elsewhere for a house, but we're not going to worry about that now. God will provide, he always does. So my next one is nothing exciting. This was just a white I got in Stylecraft Bellissima, and it's just double knitting. Can't remember why I got the white for, but I'm sure I've got some reason why I got white. Can't remember now. It's quite soft too, actually. Obviously not as soft as the chenille. This is the other Yarn Smiths then, called Create. That one was called Snug as a Bug Prince. This one is Yarn Smith Create, and this is the super chunky. Look at this. It's got like a little pattern in the super chunky, and it's really super soft too. It really is nice and super soft too. I got, this is like a mustardy sort of color, so I'm not entirely sure what I'll use this for yet either, but I just sort of picked out whatever shade of colors looked nice to me when I was ordering it, and I thought, I'm sure I'll find something to make in that color. So that actually would be quite nice, maybe as a hat or something, a super chunky hat. I've just pulled a bit out at the bottom, but that is really good, and it's lovely and thick. Let's see what needles. And it says with this one, 10mm with this one. So it's actually bigger needles with this one than with the chenille. The chenille's 8, an 8mm needle and a hook, and this one's 10. So maybe that's a chunky rather than a super chunky. But anyway, What else have we got? Where was the other one in that? So in the other one, in the super chunky, I got a blue. I do like blues and yellows, don't I? I do. And I like pinks and purples. This is the beautiful blue, and it's soft as well. The same sort of pattern. It's going to be beautiful to work with. It really is. Cornflower blue is what that one's called. What was this one called? Mustard yellow. There we go. I don't really go by when I'm getting, I usually order, although I didn't in this case, but I usually order when I'm doing a project more than one ball of wool so that I don't run out, because I don't really go by the shades and the dye lots because I'm not selling stuff. I don't really need to. And so if I ever did run out of a ball of wool and I just go and order the same one, even though it's not the shade, it's the same sort of shade or lot number, I have never seen really much difference between, between the two of them. So which is your favorite color out of these? The mustard or the blue? I'm really loving this blue. Ooh, what could I crochet with that blue? Next up then we have the Signet, of course, and this is the super soft chunky, the kitties. What did I get this for? I've got 3 balls of this in this bag, but I can't remember what I got it for. I think maybe I was going to use this to do, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it in chunky. I think I was going to get this to do a cardigan, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it in chunky. I think I'm probably going to have to do it in double knit, but we'll see anyway. But that is quite soft, not as soft as the Yarn Smiths actually. That there's softer than what this would be. So I still really like that, super chunky. So I've got 3 balls of that. I'll just lift one out. This one I have been using for a while, but I got another ball of it in case I decide to make something bigger than a hat. And this is the Rainbow Spirit Chunky. I'm sure everybody's probably used these. The original, or is that the original colour I was looking for? It doesn't say on it what that colour is. The original colour I was looking for was Sundance. I'm not sure if that is Sundance or not, because every time I went to order the Sundance on Wool Warehouse or wherever it was out of stock, so I had to end up getting this one, which is a different sort of rainbow, but it's still really nice. For those of you who's on my group, Cat's Coffee Crochet, you will see a picture in there of a scarf, a double crochet scarf. I think it was in the back loop only, that I crocheted with this exact wool, and it was beautiful. Rainbow scarf, and I managed to put the tassels and all on it too. That was my very first scarf that I ever crocheted. So I have, if you go and look in there on Facebook, you will see the rainbow scarf which I crocheted in this chunky wool. But this is great for scarves, hats. That would even be gorgeous as a blanket. So yeah, that's a must have, and as I say, it all comes in different colorways as well. Not sure the exact price, individual price of each of these. So if you just go onto the Wool Warehouse site, you can find the prices on there. They do have a sale on at the minute, and the prices are at the minute, from what I can see, as low as $2.99. I paid $2.99 for some of those balls, and like on Amazon, the balls are roughly from like $3.99 per ball and up. Obviously, the bigger ones, the 300 gram, the Chanel was a bit more, but not too much. It's very, very affordable. That is one. Another benefit to crochet and knitting and being so mindful, it's not a dear hobby. It's not a dear hobby. You can even pick up some balls of wool in the charity shops and things like that. It is not a dear hobby to do at all. Which is another reason why it's so good for mental health, because then you don't have to be worrying. Of course, some people collect wool like I do and have a full box of wool and maybe don't knit or crochet very much, although I am, as I say, because I'm now crocheting every day, I am making more stuff. So I'm going to do some washcloths. So I got some white. This is a new brand. This is Rico cotton. I've never tried this cotton before, and that there is a white for a washcloth. Some people I made soaps before, and I crocheted washcloths to go with them, but some people was a little bit funny about a coloured washcloth because of the dye. I've never had an issue with that with my skin, eczema and all, which is why I've got a white one, but I think I'll probably just be keeping most of these washcloths for myself. I thought this colour was really, really nice. This is actually a Style Craft Naturals Organic Cotton, that one, which is quite nice. Apparently this range is being discontinued, so or else it's this color. This color was called Carrot. Either that color or that range is being discontinued, but that's organic cotton. I thought I would try that because I like my organic stuff. This is another Rico one, another blue, so I'll probably do a little washcloth in blue for Daniel because that's his favorite color. He loves cyan blue, and I think that is probably cyan blue. I haven't showed the kids all this wool yet, so they'll have to have a look at it and a feel of it. And then we've got the Rico lemon. I really do like the lemon at the minute. Lovely spring color. I mean, these are great for spring colors, and the pinks and purples. It's typically I would use pastel colors, not so much this in the summertime. I am more pastel colors like light lemons and lilacs and pinks and blues and things, really light pastel colors. In the winter time then I tend to go for like reds, oranges, darker blues, things like that, the odd time green, and there's a lilac one. So let me know what colors of wool you like using. Does the weather, does spring or summer, does the seasons depend on what colors you use, depending on the season? And also, what do you like to knit or crochet? Maybe that depends a lot on the type of wool that you use. Some people call it yarn. I call it wool and yarn, as I'm sure you've noticed. So yeah, what type, does it depend on what type of wool or yarn you're using? What things do you typically like to knit and crochet? Everybody has their own wee thing. Once they start going of one thing, maybe stick to it. They like to crochet like baby knits or winter woolies or stuff like that. I'm the sort of person that doesn't stick to any one thing. As you know, every winter I love to do my scarves and my hats. I do have to say that. And I do like to try something different every year. So I do like to try one thing at least, which I've never done before. This year there might be two because I've never done a blanket and the cardigan that I've been talking about. And the cardigan is for me to wear. So I've always wanted to wear something for me to wear besides a hat and a neck warmer. And I think I'm ready for that challenge this year. So yes, I would love to know what is your niche. Do you like to try different things to knit and crochet? Does it depend on the seasons? Or do you just have one favorite thing that you like to crochet? Or perhaps you crochet different things for charities and things like that. I would love to know because I'm sharing my mindful crochet journey with you, and it's nice to have feedback and hear what others use and how you use, what different ways you crochet and things like that, for your crochet journey. Plus we can all learn some tips and tricks from each other. That was something else, actually, talking about tips and tricks. To the last ball of yarn, because the only other two balls is these two again, so I'll just leave these in here. But I have never had a ball like this before. Now this is Lion Brand and it's called Mandala Ombra. I chose Mandala because it's mindful. I've never crocheted a mandala, right enough, but I was looking at something like that on a video not that long ago, and it actually did look quite, as long as it's a one stitch repeat pattern round for me, pardon me, it did look quite nice and quite sort of relaxing to crochet. But look at this. Look at the colorway in that and how many different colors there is. Even just looking at that makes me feel full of joy and happiness and the possibilities of what you could crochet with that. Actually, right now, I don't really have any idea what I could crochet with that. What could you crochet with that? Look at the amount of amazing colors. I know somebody's going to say a scarf. Let's think of something different that we could crochet out of that. Do you know what? That actually would be nice as a jumper. That would be really nice as a jumper. So I think it is 100% acrylic. It's a 150-gram ball. The needles are 4.5 for knitting, 5.5 for crochet hook. So I think this must be a ram, although it looks very thin to me to be a ram. Having said that, sometimes I will use 5mm for double knit, depending on what I'm crocheting, because I am a loose crocheter. But that looks to be very thin to me to be a ram, so I think that's double knit. But you must be able to use 5.5mm. I wouldn't typically. For double knit I use 4.5 because I'm so loose at crochet, but I'm a tight knitter. So I would probably use 4.5, depending on what I'm making. If it's something where I maybe need a bit more stretch in it, maybe a 5, but I don't think I'd go 5.5, but that is quite thin. So that's bound to be double knit. Has anybody used this one? There was all different colorways in this, but this one just caught my eye. And so I decided to pick this one, but I have no idea what I could make with it. So any suggestions on this one? What would you make with it? Those colors are absolutely amazing. In fact, I could just sit here and look at that all day and squish it. But that comes to my next question, what I was about to say there, for a ball winder. I've never had a ball like this before. I've always worked with balls like this. And I have noticed a lot of people will unravel all this ball and wind it round a ball winder. And I've kind of thought before, well, maybe that's a bit of a waste of time. But you know what? The other night I got a knot. It was a really big knot. And that was the first time this happened with Signet yarn in my orange wool. And I had to cut and then rejoin the yarn again. And it was a bit of a faffing session. And because I don't like doing that, I don't like having to cut and rejoin my yarn. I did have to, obviously, for the other side of his jumper, and it took me 3 goes, but I got there in the end. But I don't typically like having to do that, especially when there's a big knot in it. Sometimes if it's a small knot, you can work it on into your crochet depending on what you're doing, and it's not noticeable. But this was a really big one, had to be cut and rejoined. So I was kind of wondering, maybe it is a good idea then to unroll your balls, because then you'll be able to see how many knots is going to be in it when you're winding it round the ball winder. And I'm wondering, when you wind it round the ball winder and you take it off, is it more? Does it end up, does it go from this and then on the ball winder, is it more compact like this? Because maybe this would be easier to work with than a ball which is like this. So let me know, which one do you work with? Do you work with a ball winder? What is the pros and cons of a ball winder? I might have to go and do some research. And let me know in the comments and what we could make with this. So that is my yarn unboxing for today. I'm not going to put this down. That's my yarn unboxing for today. I hope you like those little brads. I say they're all acrylic. All acrylic. That one says polyester, 100% polyester. I know that one's acrylic because I've used it. It's acrylic. 80% acrylic, 20% wool. And Yarn Smiths is 100% acrylic, and I think Signet is much the same. Where are we at? Yeah, Signet's 100% acrylic, and obviously they're going to be probably 100% cotton. Yeah, 100% cotton. So yeah, it's either 100% acrylic or a wool acrylic mix that I typically use. So once I get Simba's jumper finished, I am going to start a washcloth in this colour. I have seen a lovely moss stitch in the little Knit Yourself Can book that I got myself for Christmas, and I'm going to start to knit a little washcloth in this. So I am hoping that I find my knitting as therapeutic as what I find my crochet, but if not, then I'll just have to forget about the knitting and I'll just stick with the crochet. I was going to try and do a wee bit of both just because I want to, in memory of my friend that passed away at Christmas time. I mean, I have picked up my knitting needle since then, and I can still knit and purl, and I can do the stocking stitch and all the rest, but I just haven't done a project yet. So this will be my first project in about 9 years. It's probably been about 9-10 years since I've knitted, so this will be my first knitted project in 10 years. Maybe because I have been crocheting now, and I haven't knitted for so long, maybe that'll help my knitting, and my knitting will be better this time and more therapeutic than what it was the last time. But we'll find out, and I'll let you know. So thank you so much for joining me for this fantastic box opening. I really love that. Look at the colours. There's greens, pinks, purples, oranges. Wonder, is there a lemon in there somewhere? There is like a brownie sort of colour. That is absolutely amazing. So it is. Absolutely amazing. It actually shows you the colorways there. It shows you there on the side the different colors in it. So it's not really a lemon, but it is still quite nice. So yeah, let me know all the answers to the things that I asked in the video in the comment section below. I will reply to everybody as soon as I get time. I jump back and forward on through the day and the evening time in between looking after the kids and the cats. I will always answer you eventually, don't worry. But yes, if anybody's got any suggestions on what to make with that lovely colorway, would be amazing. And indeed what I could make with the super chunky. It would be nice as a jumper too, actually. But again, I don't really like, I like working the block colors a lot rather than cutting and rejoining the yarn and working with two colors at the same time, but probably just need a bit more practice with that. I'd be fine. Anyway, I've kept you for half an hour. I hope you've enjoyed our yarn unboxing, and as I say, we'll be back with another little video. I need to look at my list to see what the next video is going to be, and I'll be back with it probably next week. I'm going to try and maybe do one video a week, and amongst my other mindfulness stuff that I do. So I'll try and see if I can do that. So wherever you are and whatever the weather is like, if you're having snow or whatever, enjoy it, make the most of it. And if you've got the sunshine, make the most of that too. It's not often we see the sunshine in January either. Of course, maybe you're from another part of the world and it's actually summertime where you are. That's really cool too. So yes, I hope you have a blessed week and a very mindful week. And I'll see you all again soon. Bye. Take care and Happy New Year.